Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the limited edition Wolfsburg spec Volkswagen Rabbit. Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight. Now Quarterlight, if you don't know, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars, looking back at memories of cars gone by and of course car brochures, then please consider subscribing. Anyway, back to today's episode, which was first aired on a Saturday. We call those episodes the Saturday special episodes because we look at special edition and limited edition, various different makes and models of car. Today's no exception. We're looking at the Volkswagen Rabbit Wolfsburg. Volkswagen Rabbit, of course. We'll probably, in Europe, we'll better known of this as the Mk1 Volkswagen Golf, of course. But for some reason in the US and Canada, they decided to call the Mk1 the Rabbit. Anyway, let's have a look at today's brochure. And here is today's brochure, the Wolfsburg Limited Edition Rabbit. And this is a US brochure. Like I said at the start, the US and Canada called the Mk1 Volkswagen Golf the Rabbit. Anyway, let's zoom in a little bit further. So here's this particular model. Of course, in Europe, we will be less familiar with these front headlamps being square. We kind of like associated more of that with being the Volkswagen Jetta look, the Golf with the boot, but not unusual to see those square headlights on the Volkswagen Golf or Volkswagen Rabbit at this time in the US and Canada, and also these quite unattractive big bumpers. Often in North America they did have to change the bumpers for regulations and they look quite unattractive compared to the European ones. But yes, this is going to be a limited edition version. The Wolfsburg Limited Edition. Wolfsburg is kind of like a badge they used on many different models over the years for various different Volkswagens. Here it's been used as this Rabbit Limited Edition. Now Wolfsburg is the 5th largest city in Germany, more famously known as the location for the Volkswagen headquarters and the world's biggest car plant. So that's why they often use that Wolfsburg, and often with like sort of like a castle type motif. Anyway, this particular brochure, now on the back of the brochure says nothing else is a Volkswagen. I guess the slogan in the US at the time, maybe printed in the US, and really no date on there. But if we do zoom in, somebody at some point has wrote a date there, 83 USA, which makes sense. This is from 1983 when this particular limited edition came out in the US. I did just watch a commercial for these that came out in 1983 for the US, and it came out, too much car for the money, and then it had things like fuel injection, power steering, velour seats. Goes on to tell us this car should cost a small fortune. In fact, it was $6,990, and actually it's a quite nice spec. For a Mk1 Golf, it's very nice actually. Anyway, let's open the brochure up and have a look inside. Look at the interior. Let's just zoom in a little bit further. Simple layout overall, this slab side, and very just what you need. Controls, no rev counter on there. There's very flat steering wheel. I've always liked the Mk1 Golf. I think it is my favourite amongst all the Volkswagen Golfs, or Volkswagen Rabbit I should say in this form. And it was of course the smallest. It grew larger and larger over the years, and I could understand it was a very small car at this time in Mk1 guise, but I still think it's the nicest looking of them all, and quite a nice interior with those velour seats. It says engineered in Germany, it's become the world's most envied design. Quite a nice little follow-up really from the Volkswagen Beetle. Anyway, let's open the brochure still further. When we open the brochure fully, it barely fits on the stand there. It's huge, but a really nice image of this particular limited edition Rabbit in motion. We got these rather nice looking wheel trims, of course, extra little, I'm assuming they're reflectors or maybe lights on the side for the US market, of course, and them unusual squared bumpers and these rectangular front headlights, which I don't mind. I think I prefer the round headlights, but still, I don't mind it. It doesn't look quite a nice little car, and of course this is a 5-door. At the top there, it shows us that little castle type emblem or badge like I was talking about at the start there. It tells us the Wolfsburg crest has long been associated with Volkswagen engineering and craftsmanship. The Wolfsburg limited edition Rabbit. Tells us at the top there, the Wolfsburg limited edition Rabbit can be ordered with a 3-speed auto transmission or 5-speed manual as standard. Quite nice to have a 5-speed. There is that automatic. And a look at these wheels and covers, and it says standard equipment on the Wolfsburg limited edition Rabbit includes power assisted steering, which is very nice to have on such a small car in 83, steel belted radial tyres and full wheel covers. So like I say, a nicely spec'd limited edition really. Extras are standard, it tells us. America's car buyers want more in their next car, more features, more value and a lower price. That's what you'll find, plus old world quality in this Wolfsburg limited edition Rabbit. All this on top of the front wheel drive and fully independent suspension that are the pride of our German engineers. But what really increases the value of the Wolfsburg limited edition Rabbit is its extra standards without extra cost. This special Rabbit begins as our most popular 4-door model and adds our most luxurious velour upholstery. We've included an automatic transmission or our popular 5-speed manual and put variable ratio power assistance on the rack and pinion steering, all standard. Then we added wider wheels and 70 series steel belted radial tyres to further improve handling, and installed distinctive wheel covers for a sporty look. There's even a special manila beige exterior and 8 other colours with new protective body mouldings. You may opt for our rugged diesel engine instead of the standard fuel injected gasoline engine, and of course add other extra cost options such as air conditioning or a sliding steel sunroof. Before you decide on specific equipment, be sure you test drive a Rabbit. That's the best way to determine how much performance and economy you want to add to its precise handling and roadability. And look closely at the fit and finish of a Rabbit. We pride ourselves on building a well-made car. Our standards of quality may not be included in the standard features listing. Perhaps they should be. They're what make Rabbits such great buys. And I've noticed this before with sort of North American special editions. They're almost like just another spec model because you can still add all these extras and even have different engine choices, where I usually found more in Europe there seems to be less sort of add-ons you can make. And of course in Europe there maybe sell just like 2,500 or 5,000 units, where these would be much higher than that. Now moving to the back page, we get the specifications for the Wolfsburg limited edition Rabbit. So we get some dimensions of capacity, so length, wheelbase, width, height, track, luggage capacity, etc. It gives the electrical system, so the alternator, battery, ignition, and then if we move down we get the steering system, a type rack and pinion of course, and then shows the ratios and the turns lock to lock. The wheels and tyres, so the rim size and the tyre size. The suspension system, so front independent McPherson strut, rear independent stabiliser axle. springs, front and rear coil, shock absorbers, front and rear telescopic, brake system as we would expect, sort of front or disc brakes, rear or drum, power assisted though, so that's nice, and a handbrake which acts on the rear wheels. And then we've got the drivetrain, so the clutch, the transmission, the ratios for those 5-speed, reverse and final drive. So overall the specifications are very limited, no mentions of the different engines there at all, which is unusual, and certainly in Europe we would really want a much more comprehensive list of specifications at this time, I would say. So a little tagline, I guess: nothing else is a Volkswagen. That's a different one than we got in Europe. I'm not sure what we got in Europe. I know they used to say a lot, if only everything was as reliable as a Volkswagen. Do you remember that? If we look at the bottom here, yes, it does say printed in the US, and the rest of the small print is the usual sort of small print. Volkswagen of America Inc. believes the specifications in this brochure are correct at time of printing, etc, etc, but we can change things at any time. A bit of a get out clause, I guess. So there we go, a quick look at this limited edition brochure for the Volkswagen Rabbit for the US market. I think it's a really nice limited edition, very high spec. Like I said, things like power steering, velour seats. I quite like these. However, I think I'd quite happily driving one of these back then. It must have felt quite nice. In Europe, did we even get any with power steering? But anyway, thank you so much for watching today. As always, we'll say, if you've not done already, please do remember to like and subscribe. That is all completely free. Many more episodes for Quarterlight to come in the near future, and we're coming up to almost 500 episodes that we've done already, so plenty of years to watch if you've got time. But thank you so much for watching. I've added a couple of boxes on there. That's just to click on to look at other episodes, and also the ability to subscribe, which is very much appreciated. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.